Hello, I'm a whole lot of Glenn, aka Hell Water Fire, and this is Hell War News for October 15, 2016. 6016, if you're a Freemason, fuck Blackwater Crusader on Hell Wars. Let's get down to business. Alright, Mysterious Archive put out this video a little while ago on Blackwater and Z, and I put a facsimile on my channel, left a link to his link, or their link. I'm not too sure if they're his or a her. My apologies. I just look at the channel. But they came out with this video, beautifully done on Blackwater and Eric Prince. I'm going to run it, and then we're going to get down to business shortly after I run this segment. Be forewarned that I told you people a long time ago that they were already here in North America. Blackwater is already here. They've already established themselves all over North America. I've actually even showed proof of one Blackwater person or someone supporting Blackwater here in my own city, which tells me that Blackwater is probably setting up to do a massive attack. And when I say massive, I mean like not just one city or two cities, but how about every city in North America, every big city? Think about it. If these people are everywhere, these hired military contractors, and I'm going to prove that to you in the next segment after this, that they are everywhere, like I said they were a couple of years ago, and you people aren't listening to what I've been saying, and I've been telling you all along who's been doing the terrorism, and you people aren't listening to me, and you got to get on side here. You all think it's fake, you all think it's a false flag visual bullshit situation where no one dies and no one gets hurt because retards put that into your fucking brain. And these retards are also part of the plan because they are all heavily right-wing religious motherfuckers like Dave Johnson, former military. Remember that, former military Dave Johnson. Hellware's gonna fuck you up right now. Alright, so here we go. Let's run this segment on Eric Prince, the Blackwater, and then I'm going to explain to you people once and for all, for the final fucking time, that these people, these hired military contractors, are all over North America as I speak right now.
Executive for ZXE, the former company formerly called Blackwater, in which that executive describes a nearly global enterprise shot through with criminality, arms dealing, fraud, tax evasion, child prostitution, murder, all of which Z denies even in cases where its employees have already pleaded guilty. One motive for all this, the four-year executive claims, was greed. Tonight, in our third story, the other motive was God. Jeremy Scahill, who first broke this story for The Nation magazine, wrote the definitive book on Blackwater in which he details some of the theocratic connections of founder Eric Prince. Now that former Blackwater executive, known only as John Doe No. 2, claims that Prince did more than subscribe to a fundamentalist Christian ideology. He used Z to advance it. Quote, Mr. Prince is motivated to engage in misconduct by two factors. First, he views himself as a Christian crusader, tasked with eliminating Muslims and the Islamic faith from the globe. To that end, Mr. Prince intentionally deployed to Iraq certain men who shared his vision of Christian supremacy, knowing and wanting these men to take every available opportunity to murder Iraqis. Many of these men used call signs based on the Knights of the Templar, the warriors who fought the Crusades. As a young man, Eric Prince was an intern for the first President Bush and for the Family Research Council, the right-wing religious organization his father helped to start. He later complained about his White House internship. Quote, I saw a lot of things I did not agree with. Homosexual groups being invited in, the budget agreement, the Clean Air Act. A Catholic convert, Prince has donated more than $250,000 to conservative Republican politicians, primarily the religious ones. He has used the wealth of his family and profits from Z to create and to fund numerous right-wing and or proselytizing Christian organizations, the Family Research Council, Christian Freedom International, and the Council on National Policy, whose meetings Prince said he has attended. That last group, the CNP, was founded by this man, the Reverend Tim LaHaye, whose Left Behind series dramatizes his biblical beliefs that in the near future, Solomon's temple in Israel will be rebuilt. Jesus then returns, making true believers vanish away with him. Those left behind who accept Jesus battle the unbelievers. Mr. Prince's devout family values Christianity does not always manifest itself, however, in his behavior. After a Z, then Blackwater plane went down in Afghanistan, Prince argued that legal immunity pertained because companies cannot be sued for the actions of their employees under prevailing Afghanistan law, specifically the Islamic law of Sharia. Prince was interviewed by Suzanne Simons for a new book about him, a book that reports Prince cheated on his first wife, his dying first wife, with their nanny. Simons writes that the nanny attended the funeral while pregnant with Prince's child. Prince did, in his words, the right thing. He married the nanny. At Z, Prince has surrounded himself with like-minded believers like the lobbyist Paul Behrens, board member of Christian Freedom International, and General Counsel COO Joseph Schmitz. As Inspector General at the Pentagon, Mr. Schmitz incorporated the phrase, always under the protection of the Almighty, into the official seal and said, quote, we pride ourselves on our strict adherence to the rule of law under God. He spoke to the Order of Malta, a secretive Catholic group at the Church of Paul Bremer, another conservative Catholic in the Bush administration, and Schmitz essentially exonerated U.S. General William Boykin for turning his mission missionary. After even Republicans slammed Schmitz for shielding the White House from congressional scrutiny of Pentagon purchasing, Schmitz resigned and went to Blackwater. Schmitz not only spoke to the Order of Malta, he is a member. Scahill reports the order is, quote, a Christian militia formed in the 11th century before the First Crusades with the mission of defending territories that the Crusaders had conquered from the Muslims, territories familiar to theocratic minds.
This crusade, this war on terrorism, is going to take a while.
The Pentagon put Bible verses on its reports for Mr. Bush. Some of his soldiers spoke openly about distributing Bibles in Iraq and Afghanistan, spreading the word. Eric Prince once described Z employees this way, quote, everybody carries guns just like Jeremiah rebuilding the temple in Israel, a sword in one hand, a trowel in the other. The temple that must be rebuilt for Jesus to return. Bush officials helped Prince advance his vision. State Department Inspector General Alvin Krongard killed a probe into Z's weapons smuggling, then denied to Congress that his brother was on Z's advisory board.
I specifically asked him, I do not believe it is true that he is a member of the advisory board. During the break, I did contact my brother. I reached him at home. He is not at the hotel, but I learned that he had been at the advisory board meeting yesterday. I had not been aware of that, and I want to state on the record right now that I hereby recuse myself from any matters having to do with Blackwater.
Coalition Chief Paul Bremer, another counsel for national policy veteran, once said, I cannot succeed in this mission without the help of God, but he also needed Blackwater. He gave Prince his first big contract in Iraq. Bremer later wrote the Bremer Order granting contractors in Iraq total legal immunity, and Z would need it. Quoting John Doe No. 2's sworn declaration, Mr. Prince operated his companies in a manner that encouraged and rewarded the destruction of Iraqi life. For example, Mr. Prince's executives would openly speak about going over to lay Hajis out on cardboard. Going to Iraq to shoot and kill Iraqis was viewed as a sport or a game. A man whom Z called a disgruntled former employee put it this way.
Troubling when a group of Americans who are supposedly there to help in the rebuilding of the country consider those people to be less than they are, less human than they are.
But is there any evidence that these attitudes reached the battlefield? We've told you that Prince sent his men illegal ammo engineered to detonate on contact with human flesh. Out of 3 State Department security contractors, Z fired first in its shootouts, more than any other, firing first or being the only side to fire, in 84% of shooting incidents. July 1st, 2007, Z shooters allegedly opened up on a minibus, taking 3 families to the airport, dead, 1 9-year-old boy, his father, his uncle, his mother, trying to shield her 3-month-old daughter. The baby is also dead, shot in the face.
All right, I had enough of that. Right-wing Crusaders militia group plotted terror attack on Muslim immigrants, FBI charges. This one just in late yesterday at 5 p.m. The terrorist group reportedly had sovereign citizens, anti-government, anti-Muslim, and anti-immigrant extremist beliefs. Now, you just watched the little segment on Blackwater. You just watched a little segment on it. You got the proof of the Christian mentality of these people and the crusade on their minds. Now, you can see that they give themselves away by using the word crusade. Crusaders, the Templars, that's the favorite word. They were crusaders, right? The Templars were crusaders, people. And I keep telling you people about this problem, but you're not listening. You're going to listen to me now. The terrorist group reportedly had sovereign citizens, anti-government, anti-Muslim, and anti-immigrant extremist beliefs. Yes. Now, there's another little peckerhead out there named Aryan Empires, and if you're fucking listening to me, you better get on side right fucking now, you little bastard, before I rip you a new anal cavity, Mr. Aryan Empires. We're putting this story together. This is it. This clinches it for Hell War News after I told you people a million times it was the Blackwater military contractors behind it all. They're the terrorists. They are ISIS. They are all of it. This is going down. These people, I told you, have worldwide passports. They all are already in North America. I told you people that. I even got film of a Blackwater representative riding a bike, a Harley, here in my own city, which tells me that this virus of Blackwater has spread to every city in North America. And you're going to get the news on this because these sons of bitches plotted to do a terrorist attack the day after the presidential election. Let's get down to business. 3 Kansas men who were allegedly part of a domestic terrorist group called the Crusaders, yes, the Crusaders, yes, Blackwater, were arrested on Friday, charged with plotting to carry out an attack on Muslim living in the state. The men were identified as Patrick Stein, Gavin Wright, Curtis Ellen, and all are in their late 40s. They belong to a group that espoused sovereign citizen, anti-government, anti-Muslim, and anti-immigrant extremist beliefs, according to an FBI agent's affidavit, and allegedly plotted to attack Muslim immigrants focusing on an apartment complex in Garden City, Kansas. According to the Department of Justice, and just to let you people know, in Winnipeg here, we have also an area called Garden City. So check your maps in all your cities, wherever you fucking live. This could be a code word or something, but who knows. According to the Department of Justice, the trio allegedly stockpiled firearms, ammunition, explosive materials, and discussing parking 4 vehicles filled with explosives at the 4 corners of an apartment complex in order to set off a massive explosion. The attack, which the men allegedly said would wake people up, was planned for November 9th. Number 9? Number 9? Number 9? One day after the presidential election, according to the DOJ. The FBI has been investigating Stein, Wright, and Allen since February and document their violent rhetoric, excerpts of which appear uncensored below. And they sure talk like Blackwater reps. Stein allegedly said that the only good Muslim is a dead Muslim and that he would enjoy shooting Muslims' heads when we go on operations. There's no leaving anyone behind, even if it's 1 year old. I'm serious. And in the report I just showed you, yes, that live report I just showed you about Blackwater, of course, in the commentary, they talk about a 3-month-old baby being killed in one of these hits. I'm serious. I guarantee if I go on a mission, and they call it a mission, yes, a mission, hired military contractors go on missions. Those little fuckers are going bye-bye, he said, according to the FBI. When we go on operations, there's no leaving anyone behind, and I just read that statement and I won't read it again. I do not want to read that bullshit. It's fucking double-barrel bullshit. And I don't mean it's lies. I mean the way they think is total bullshit. These people have serious problems in the mind. Stein allegedly conducted surveillance on at least 3 different occasions and discussing targeting churches that had supported refugees at a July 20